This is Jonathan, and I'm attempting a new angle. I kind of extended the tripod a little bit, and actually it's a lot easier to work with now. So I think I will like this new setup. If it's too hard, you're doing it wrong, right? So this is the Tarot of Light and Shadow, designed by John Matthews and artwork by Andrea Aste. It's a nice sturdy box. I do appreciate that. I did open this just to I didn't look at the cards yet because I wanted that to be with you guys, but I did want to look at the book. So I marked a little thing here. Ways of working with the double deck, because you get the light and the shadow, right? Tarot of Light and Shadow. So there's 2 decks, and there's 3 ways of working with the decks. So method 1, choose either the light or shadow deck as your principal resource. Shuffle and draw cards exactly as you usually would, using either a simple 3-card spread or a more complex one using a higher number of cards. Several new specially devised spreads will be found below. I'll get to that in a minute. Read this set of cards. Then draw a number of additional cards from the alternate deck and use these to supplement and clarify the original reading. You can choose the same number of cards as you drew from the principal deck of choice, or more if additional clarification is required. You will find light and shadow readings in this book for each card, along with some background information regarding the meaning of the imagery. This, though it may seem to follow traditional lines, offer a number of differences. Careful study of the cards from both decks will show you a number of variants, small and large. These are not simply mirror designs or even flipped pictures. They are specifically drawn to offer clues to the different ways in which the same card may be read. As you see from the Fool here, the cards are kind of mirrored, but also unique. Like this is sun and this is moon. So, I mean, it's mirrored, but also the details are different. Method 2, shuffle both decks together and make a reading from the whole spectrum of the cards. This may be difficult for those with small hands, as 2 sets of cards are quite large when put together, but you can shuffle randomly by placing the cards into piles and then collecting them together. The effect of this method is to have a huge range of layered meanings to each question. Thus, you will be given a more nuanced answer and find yourself led down alternate paths. I'm assuming because, if the same card showed up in the same reading, but they have opposite meanings, how do you take that? Especially if they end up in the same position, right? So, if you were using method 1, that is. Method 3. Use either deck on its own as you would normally with any tarot. The meanings are mostly traditional, though you may notice some variations which can direct your understanding in subtle ways. And then it says Cosmic Mirror or Wild Cards. In addition, we have provided 2 additional cards, one for the light deck, the other for the shadow deck. These so-called wild cards here represent the cosmic mirror, which reflects back only truth. They can be shuffled into the decks as followed. Either shuffle the shadow wild card into the light deck and the light into the shadow deck, or if you prefer, light into light and shadow into shadow. The purpose of these cards is to act as an indicator for your issue or a significator to represent you in the reading. To do this, look through the deck until you locate the Cosmic Mirror card and choose the card on either side as if of it to represent the issue or yourself. Okay. If the wild card appears next to a pip, so this is a pip deck. Pip card, look to either side until you find either a major or court card. This is because the pip cards tend to be less representative of individuals. If you draw a cosmic mirror card in a reading, it may suggest a change of direction from one realm to the other. For example, suppose you have drawn the first 3 cards of a 5-card reading from the shadow deck, and the 4th card is a wild card. This may suggest that your 5th card should be drawn from the light deck. We have called these cosmic mirror cards in line with the reflective imagery of these 2 decks. We suggest you play with them until you're used to how they work. They can open up a reading beyond anything you may have used before. Ask the cosmic mirror cards to help answer yes-no questions. Shuffle the 2 cosmic cards into the deck. Turn it upright to see where each wild card has landed. Read each card pair as your answer. The light card pair suggests what is possible. The shadow card pair suggests what to avoid. And so, let's see, yeah, it's got pips. So let's see, the mirror spread, you pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you're picking 3 from each deck, but you're doing it alternating, right? And then they go into this. So they have each individual deck, the light reading and the shadow reading, right? And then they have a little write-up about the pictures, because they take the pictures as 2 sides of the same card, right? So they basically split reversals off into its own deck. And as you can see here, so the majors have some pretty intensive write-ups, 2 pages here, whereas the minors you just get 1 page with the light and the reading. Part of that is because they are pips, but they're different pips, right? Each image is slightly different, and the quartz are kind of reversed, but as you can tell here, he does not have his helmet on. Here he does have his helmet on. So there's the subtle differences depending, like here, the Queen of Swords is holding out a sword like an offering, and here she's got 2 swords floating over her hand. So even though they're the same card, there's subtle differences, like just, 9 of Cups, 10 of Cups. So this is a deck that mingles RWS, Thoth, and Marcel into it's a unique system, really it is. So I think this is the same as the back here. Oh no, I guess not. But this beautifully illustrated double tarot deck allows readers to explore both sides of a question at once. Look at the shadow, the instinctive and inner world, the unknown, and the light, the rational outer world, the known. Although some professional readers combine different packs to great effect, this is the first time 2 tarot decks have been designed specifically to work together. In fact, they can be seen not as 2 separate decks, but as 1 deck appearing in 2 dimensions. So this is why I was really intrigued by this deck. It's unique, it has its own system, and the iconography is a mix, as far as I know, of there's some Thoth in there and some Marseille. So let's just see what it says here. The most subtle and insightful tarot ever created. For the first time ever, 2 decks have been designed to work together in a new multi-layered approach to the tarot. The shadow deck, your inner world, your instinct, and what is unknown. The light deck, the outer world, the rational, and what is known. So John Matthews was the creator, but then we have Andrea Aste, sorry for mangling that, an Italian artist. If anyone knows how to pronounce the last name properly, please let me know, because I'm tired of mangling it. Allows you to look both within and without, exploring both sides of every question and answer, and find the best way forward in the blending of both answers. So, I'm excited. Well, I might have to find another storage thing. Well, I guess this is okay once the cards are in there, but it is pretty flimsy, I gotta say. But it keeps the deck separate, so that's nice. All right, let's see how many pages the book has. So, was there anything? Oh yeah. So there are a couple of. So here's, cosmic mirror cards, the light and the dark, right? Oh, they have an explanation with the card back too. Interesting. So they have new spreads and sample readings. So this is the Divine Fool spread. You use a single deck. So here's an example of a light reading. Here's an example of a darkness reading. And then the Eternal Truth spread is specifically for the combined decks. And we have an example. The Cosmic spread, another combined deck spread. Directional reading, that's interesting. So you pick one. This is like, you're using both decks, but you have them separate. You pull one from the light and one from the dark. And then I'm not sure what a longer reading. I think this is a mixed spread. So, and they have a nice further reading list at the back, which is nice. And it is 160 pages. I'm just getting lost on the. So there is actually a lot of Marseille. So this is kind of a Marseille deck, I guess. I thought it was a mix of all three systems, but it's a type of Marseille, which is cool. Oops, sorry, Scully. Moment of truth. Time to start looking. It's a nice chunky deck. Putting them together will be a little bit difficult to shuffle, won't it? So I believe that they both have the same backs. Yeah, I believe so. So there's the back. And it is a really nice cardstock, I gotta say. So I guess we'll just go through them. I'm trying to wonder if I should zoom in a little for this, but I think I'll just hold them up. So here we have the two fools, one of the day, one of the night. And I see lots of little details here, like this flower here looks like a little flower monster there. The dog looks nice here. The dog over here has a devil tail. The birds here have become imps of some kind. But the two fools are definitely like reflections of each other. I love how here the magicians are actually facing each other, right? Comparing the two different potions, one exploding, one is very, I don't know, not explosive. Very leisurely, I guess, is the best way of describing it. Here we have the High Priestess, and I like the juxtaposition of the Fool, because like the Fool has the sun, and here the High Priestess has the moon, and the Dark Fool has the moon, and here the High Priestess has the sun. So, and I love the little subtle details of like, here's the key, here's the keyhole. She has her book closed, she has her book open. This one has a bird. Here, this one just has the feather. So I wonder if this bird goes back and forth between the two. They're so cool. I love this. I wasn't so sure about the artwork at first, but now that I'm seeing like compared to each other, it's just stunning, I must say. Oh, I love how here the hat is a tree and here it's just a regular hat. Huh. That looks like oh my god, why am I blanking on her name? The plant from Little Shop of Horrors. And this is a nice little, what, daffodil? Empress. Here we have the Emperor. Very similar. And I guess here these elephants are birds here. And the hats are different, aren't they? It's very Middle Eastern, very European. I'm trying to figure out what this is. Oh, I think it's a head. Yeah. With a crown on it. Interesting. Interesting. The interesting thing too is that the backs are reversible, so if you read reversals, even though it seems like they are reverse of each other, that would be crazy. I don't know. I think I would have to read without reversals at first just to get used to the system, and then maybe throw in reversals to really up the game, so to speak. Interesting how they have the stabs in opposite hands here. But very similar otherwise. Well, these have spears. These are just couriers, it looks like. Huh. These cards are very intriguing. It's going to be interesting to read with them, and so many ways to read with them too. Oh, the lovers are reversed. That's interesting. The women are looking at their lover and at the other couple, whereas the guy only has eyes for the woman. And this spear, is that a spear? Turns into an umbrella, which is interesting. They got the moon and the sun. So I love how they throw that in on more than one card. Here we have the chariot. Oh, interesting. Very different animals. Here we got elephants. Here we have monsters, I guess. I'm not even sure. At least they're aiming their arrows away from each other. Well, this one looks like he's about ready to fire, and this one, or getting ready to fire, and this one's about ready to fire. Oh, very different justices here. This one has the sword down, this one has the sword up. This one is level, this one, the feather is heavier. Well, I guess there's nothing on the other side. This one is just empty, this one has the feather. So that's an interesting touch there. Lots of little details, lots of details to read. Here again with the moon and the sun. We got the hermit. I love that they're facing each other. He looks like he's in the desert. He's in the hills. That's interesting. I actually really appreciate that they're so similar, actually. Here we have the wheel. Crown's falling off underneath. That's a nice touch. Oh, and I see that the background is mirrored as well. It looks like queens here, maybe. Yeah, queens over here and kings over here. That's interesting. Strength. This one's taming with a flute. This one's just grabbing the neck. This one's battling. This one's taming. That's interesting. The Hanged Man. Interesting that this one is a barren tree and this one is full of blossoms and bees. Oh, I think my son turned up the volume on his TV. I hope you guys don't hear that. If so, I apologize. Death. I like how they're going away from each other but are looking at each other. Oh, this one's got the traditional rose and this one's got an hourglass. That's a nice touch. And this is like people, and this looks like it's all nature. Flowers. Wow. Huh. There's a lot to this, and I'm looking forward to reading. Oops, sorry. I really do look forward to reading this because there's a lot to digest, isn't there? So, temperance. I think I got you guys back in order, but okay. Sorry for bumping it. Temperance. We got like a potion over here, and this one's just, I don't know, that's interesting. It is like spirits being poured out, and this one is blood. So, oh, and there's moons on both of these. Wow, that's interesting. Interesting. I keep saying interesting. Here we have the devil. They have weapons. They're just waving. Huh. He's holding the torch up. He's holding the torch down. Very intriguing. I'm gonna have to digest this book before I even play with these. Well, no. Probably not. Because it's obvious. Like, this is after the fall, and this is during the fall, right? Oh, look, there's death. Or are those ghosts? I guess those must be ghosts. Of the ones who fell, maybe. The stars. Oh, she's a mermaid and she's holding back. She's a woman and pouring from both. Oh, and the bird is facing the same way in both of them. Wow, that's an interesting touch there. I love these like subtle little details. Here we have the moon. Looks like a devil tail. Octopus tentacles. Bull heads. People heads. Crescent and full moon. That's a nice touch there. I'm just like devouring the details. Can you tell? Oh, the sun. Pretty well, the flowers are thriving in the sun, and it looks like they're all weeping at night, which is interesting. And the figures are different people almost. Judgment. Wow. This one's screaming, this one's just flying up towards the sun, it looks like. Very different vibes here, right? The world. I love that it's the world turtle, the dragon holding the world up. But here the elephants are holding the world up. That's interesting. And I love how the sun and the moon are in the same corner on that one. But the space is mirrored. Space escape behind, that is. Huh. So many subtle detail differences here. Like, look, here's the Ace of Swords. This one, the hand is holding it aloft like Excalibur, and here it's like the Excalibur stuck on the rock. So. Oh, and little subtle differences. The pommel here is a sun, and here it's a crescent moon. And even though they're pips, the fact that they're very different pips is very intriguing to me. I mean, look at the difference there. Like, totally different feel, totally different vibe. It's amazing how, like, they're able to convey two total different feelings with basically the same image, just by changing what the swords are and how they're laid out. So just out of curiosity, it's just, those are in swords. Let's do Five of Swords, the one we're about to pick up. So the origins of this card spring from countless instances of abandonment and betrayal. If we think of once feted leaders driven into exile as their stars fall, we have a clear idea of what this entails. It also relates to people abandoned by those in whom they placed absolute trust, or to the moment when beliefs or a much-loved guide may stumble or fail to answer a profound need. At the most personal level, it may refer to the loss of someone to whom we are close. So the light reading, the Five of Swords, traditionally represents bereavement or the end of a situation. This speaks of divorce, of an involuntary removal of someone or something from your life, including surgery. Anger or grief, loneliness, tears, and pain may result, although these can also be seen as a means to the end. Shadow reading. In the shadow realm, you may find that old ties need to be broken or voluntary separation undertaken. It may also suggest that when you are forced to stand on your own feet, you may begin to discover a new approach, leading in time to new friends in a new location. So, different read, but very similar vibes, right? This is going through it, this is after it. And each one is like that, where... See, it's like here, you're going through it. Here, you've done it, and now you're moving on. So... But the center sword is still the same, even though the other four are different, which I like that subtle sameness but different. Six of Swords, that's interesting. So, like I said, I'm going to really be diving deep into this book because basically learning two decks at the same time to read with each other. So, the light and the dark, right? And total mirror image here. But flipped, right? So this is That's why I say that the shadow is the reverse of the light anyway. But not everyone reads reversals, so this is a good way of being able to add reversals without having to learn reversals. No, that doesn't make any sense. I guess what I'm trying to say is that with these two decks, you have reversals built into the system without having to be worried about reversals. It's like this, you know that this is the shadow side. You always read it as if it's a reversal. So that's kind of what I was trying to say. Like, look at this dichotomy here. Here the shadow has his helmet on. Here he's holding it. These knights are about to do battle with each other. Oh, one of this guy's tassels has an evil face. Whereas here, it's just a spiral. Interesting. So, Queen of Swords, light and dark, very different. Here the king has one or two swords. Interesting how this one is pouring and just free, and this one is trapped and not pouring, withholding. Interesting that these two are the mirror images of each other, whereas these are totally different. Ooh, I keep doing that. Well, at least it's better than the other way. I don't have to reach around, I can reach through instead. So, 3 of Cups to celebrate that fact. I love the subtle little feather right there. Four of Cups. This one keeps showing up, huh? I think that's the last one where it shows up. Oh no, that's funny. And then here it switches sides. And now I think it stopped showing up. I love the subtle differences here and how each one would definitely be read different, right? Here we have incense. Very uniform here that is kind of flowing. Oh wow. I don't know if you can see the difference there, but here the center one's whole, here the center one is broken. Ooh, I should have put a pillow there. I must carry on. 8 of Cups. Now the incense is here. I love how subtle little details move from one side to another. 9 of Cups. Interesting that 3 are broken on this side. 10 of Cups. This one's spilling, this one seems... Oh, interesting that they're both facing the same direction, huh? And these are all filled. Everything here is empty. Interesting. Page of Cups. He's spilling his water out. We got different headpieces. Oh, and different necklaces too. So many subtle little details. Sorry if I'm taking a long time getting through, but this is just amazing to me. Here we have the Knight of Cups. He's throwing his cup in the air. Huh. That's an interesting touch. I love how the Queen of Cups obviously is perfectly in touch with her shadow side. They enjoy each other's company. Interesting that his cup is shattering. And his crown's flying off. That's interesting. So many little details. Oh, so here in this, I keep saying it's a deck, but it's two decks, but I guess it is just one. Let me go get a pillow real quick. Instead of pentacles or coins, they're serpents. So I have a serpentine level of, it's too big. I'm trying to find an appropriate size pillow for putting on my elbows because I'm trying to get pain shooting up. So, yeah, let me flip that around so the tag's not showing. There we go, that's better. Since we're taking a break anyway, I'll have a swig of water. Okay, so serpents. So I bet several of you have already noticed that this side looks like the Ouroboros from Neverending Story. I love that touch. And then this one is the lamscate. Wait, how do I say it? Lamscate? I think that's what it's called, the infinity symbol. So these are European dragons and Asian dragons. That's really cool. Ooh, skeletal dragons over here. It's like he's bigger. It's almost like he ate them. Or I guess they're just different types of serpents or dragons. Four of serpents. See, it's interesting because these are just holding the ends of their tails. These are actually like eating themselves. Huh. Five. There's a lot there. There's a lot in all of these. Interesting too how the background is the same here, just different colors. Because a lot of times they do the background in mirror image. Let's see if this one does that. Oh, this one's same too. Interesting. So 6 of serpents, we would call 6 of coins. Seven of serpents. Oh, there are actual serpents there. Everybody's skeleton here. Skeletal serpents on the dark side. The darkness. Or, sorry, shadow. I keep saying darkness. It's shadow. Serpents. Not sure how I feel about the change to serpents. It's very interesting, but I could see how it could cause people who have fear of serpents issues. So I probably should put a warning at the beginning of this serpent section to fast forward if you have a fear of snakes. Because that's a lot of serpents. These have been the most alike as far as mirrors as any of them, really. Page. Oh, two-headed over here. That's interesting. Knight. This one's about to attack, whereas on this side he's holding it. This one's smoking a pipe, and this one is holding the serpent. That's otherwise pretty much the same. Oh, this one's got a snake on his hat. That must be the one that this one's holding. Well, looks like there's 3 serpents on this side and only 2 over here. Well, if you see one that I'm not seeing, because patterns are trying to get to my eyes a little bit. Queen of Serpents. Totally different hairdos, but I love it. King of Serpents. Interesting how the shadow has a lot more serpents than the light. Like he's holding a snake here he's pulling on his mustache. It's intriguing, those extra little details, because it means that each one would definitely be, I don't know, I would read it totally different. Like here, you got the wands in the water, here they're like trapped in, I guess that's earth, I don't even know. And here you got a flower, here you got a big moth flower. Trying to eat the butterfly, it looks like. Okay, these I think are going to be a little different. Oh, interesting. So here we have the 2 of Wands, but then you get the 3 of Wands, which it's interesting how it's mirrored, but at the same time not. So it's like the mirror universe from Star Trek, right? Where everything is opposite. And we'll go with that same motif. I think that's going to be, no, I guess not. But 4 of Wands. Oh, there's a little serpent there. That's interesting. Five of Wands. Very different 5s, but very similar at the same time. The centerpiece is different, but that same straight, whereas the other 4 straight club or wand, the other 4 are these like club-like wands. They're just lined up differently. Six of Wands, and we're seeing that they're all the straight wands and all the club-like wands. I guess the word I'm looking for here for the different wands here is more like a stick wand, and this is more like a just had a total brain fart. I was going to say the scepter. Thank you, brain. I don't know why you had a fart right then. Anyway. Subtle details of the eyes. That's cool. Eight of Wands. Nine of Wands. 10 of Wands. page. This one's got the club-like one, this one's got the scepter-like one. And horns, apparently. Knight of Wands. Queen of Wands. Snakes here, butterflies here. Very, very different. And the King of Wands. Almost looks like they're about to battle each other, doesn't it? And our final cards are these cosmic mirrors. So I like that these can be either shuffled in or used as like a signifier. If you're asking a dark question or a light question. So that is the Tarot of Light and Shadow. Let me know if you got this, what you think of it. I'd love to hear your comments. And if you are thinking about getting it, what about it intrigued you? What about it drew you in? I'd like to hear why you're thinking about getting it. So thank you everyone for watching, and thank you if you made it through this far. I know I took a little longer than normal, but this deck, paired decks, definitely really sucked me in pretty hard. So anyway, until next time, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the flip side. Aloha!